coffee to people in restaurants. We've changed tires at auto shops, worked at a print shop today, done everything pretty much that we can think of. Gone to a Subway sandwich store, and it's been a great reception. They say, boy, well, that's what we need. We need people who actually will roll up their sleeves and get dirty and understand what it takes.
Wil Cardon rolling up his sleeves, trying to invoke one worker at a time. There he was touring a printing plant, I believe. And welcome back as we continue our conversation with Wil Cardon, Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate. At the end of our last segment, you mentioned you're a businessman. Let's talk about the business you're in. What exactly is it? Because I've done some reading, and the Cardon companies are in 100 businesses or more, including insurance companies offshore. So what exactly is your line of work?
It's a lot of different small businesses mainly. We try and we started out, my grandfather, it's a third-generation family business. My grandfather grew up in just north of Tucson, a tent with a dirt floor. And we started out by him working at a service station right across the street from the University of Arizona at Speedway and Park. And we got in the service station business. Now we're in service stations. That develops you into convenience stores. That leads you into we call them QSRs, quick service restaurants like Dunkin' Donuts and Subways. And then we've tried lots of startups. I mean, we're just entrepreneurs. We try and...
But from what I can tell, your business is largely dirt. Great Arizona business, buying land and selling land.
Yeah, that's been a great business here. That's definitely a large part of it.
So
yeah.
When we see you in campaign ads with folks with construction hats, I mean, are you actually in construction, or I didn't see construction among the business portfolio?
Yeah, we do. Well, we've built, again, service stations and things like that. So construction is part of the business. But also, we go out and plan communities, and you go out there with engineers, and you go out to communities that are being built and saying, how are we going to add on to this community, make it better? We have property next door,
so the kind of jobs you've created are what in the last, say, last 5 years?
Small business jobs. Small business jobs.
Such as?
Such as jobs in a Dunkin' Donuts, jobs in a Subway sandwich shop, jobs in a local engineering firm that we hire, jobs in our own office, accounting jobs, those type of jobs.
All right.
Just the common sense. Nothing great and sexy, Bram, just a common working job.
Let's talk issues. Senator Jim DeMint, a Tea Party hero, endorsed Congressman Flake, said you've promised to bring pork projects back to Arizona. Can you tell us where you stand on earmarks? Do you like them or not? Would you try to earmark or bring money back?
Thank you for letting me clarify, because I'm not a practiced career politician. I'm not the best public speaker in the world. I oppose earmarks. I believe the government wastes too much money. I believe the government needs to be transparent in its spending. What I'd like to see as a business person is more private jobs, more private projects. I don't think in the government terms that your career politician does. I think in the terms of, we need businesses to come to Arizona. We have a neighbor to the west of us in California that's strangling themselves. We need someone who's a leader who can talk.
So are you take the same position as Jeff Flake did and John McCain and others in our delegation? No earmarks for Arizona, no federal money for Arizona.
Yeah, no earmarks for Arizona would be my position.
But what about federal money for projects in Arizona? Would you try to get some of that?
Bram, that's a very broad question. I oppose earmarks. I think that Arizona needs to send less money back to Washington, D.C. We need to keep more of our money here.
Do we need to get more money from Washington, D.C., and whether it's an earmark or something else?
Well, no, I oppose earmarks. So
I hear a distinction there, opposing earmarks, but maybe leaving the door open for some other federal money.
Well, John Kyle has done a great job of fighting for Arizona where he can fight for Arizona, and I think that's a great example that I would try and live up to.
On illegal immigration, former Senator Russell Pierce says you're his kind of guy. What did former Senator Pierce mean by that?
You'd have to ask him.
You're on his show a week or so ago.
Yeah, you'd have to ask him. I'm getting support, broad support. I have several people who have left Jeff Flake's Finance Committee to come over, like Jerry Colangelo. It's going to take broad support in order for me to win this election. And again, Jeff Flake's a nice guy, but we need to have a clear choice. Arizonans need to have a choice between a businessman, a non-career politician, an outsider in Washington, and someone who hasn't flip-flopped on the issues, or someone that they think is deserving of it from Washington and who takes their money from Washington, D.C. and has changed his position.
Have you always been a hardliner on the border like Russell Pierce?
Yeah, I've always been someone who believes in the rule of law, that's what makes this country special. That's why people want to come here. To me, this isn't an issue of race or creed or color. people want to come here because we make laws and we keep them. I mean, that's a special thing about the United States that we can't lose.
Finally, give us the solution to a big question, funding Medicare. What is your answer to dealing with the ballooning cost of paying for Medicare?
Well, the first thing we need to do is get rid of any fraud that's in Medicare. That's been talked about a lot. The other thing we need to do is have market-based reforms. We need to be sure that people are, if they're demanding more expensive procedures, are paying for it. And we need to have, in all entitlement programs, some small reforms that will make them sustainable for future generations and for people that are depending on it right now. People that are depending on it right now, it's tough times. They depend on it. We can't violate that trust.
All right. Wil Cardon, thanks very much for joining us. Best of luck to you.
Thank you, Bram. And happy Mother's Day, can I say to the mothers
go right
out there.
ahead. We will.
I've been married 20 years and 5 children. I better say happy Mother's Day to my wife and to the great mother I have.
Okay, you can go home safely now.
And
when we come back, my conversation with the top civil rights attorney in the U.S. Justice Department on the lawsuit he filed against Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Stay with us.